Yeah, I think we get started. All right, so we're going to open the meeting and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all. Item 4, opening remarks. Does the superintendent or the town manager have any opening remarks?
I'll defer to the superintendent. I have nothing other than thanks to the committee. So far, so good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Garish.
Good evening.
We've again, we continue to make progress. I was down the site last week, and again, I encourage anybody who would like to go down to the site to, contact me, and I'd love to bring them down there for a tour with possibly Alyssa or anyone else who might be on the site. We participated last week with our furnishing committee, myself, Mr. Bray, Mrs. Holbrook, Mr. Dolan, along with Alyssa and folks from RDA. And it's very exciting to see where RDA is to this point with the color scheme and the furnishings and the rest. And just want to say thank you to Mrs. Holbrook for her style and her sense of style, other than Mr. Bray and I, because she is designing a wonderful interior to the school. We appreciate you, Mrs. Holbrook.
Thank you.
It's really Angela and Steve that have done this.
Yeah. Angela and Steve work incredibly hard, but definitely Mrs. Holbrook has a flair for this, and me and Mr. Bray just kind of grin and nod a lot, like at home. But thank you to everyone involved with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So item 5, approval of previous committee meeting minutes for October 18th, 2021 and October 21st, 2021. Are there any comments or discussion on either of those sets of meeting minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from October 18th, 2021 and October 21st, 2021.
Matt Rushton, second.
All right, why don't we take the roll?
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Lil,
Aye.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you. Item 6, the OPM update.
All right, thank you, John. All right, so we have our monthly updates. I just wanted to note, thank you to everyone for your availability for our emergency interim meeting. That was important to keep things going on the site. Oh, Harsh, you have your hand raised? Oh,
Yeah, I see
We'll
that
see.
too.
we'll see if he has a question later. It just popped up telling me that he had it raised. But so Alyssa is going to take us through some of these updates, but I'm going to control the presentation. So Alyssa, tell me when to move, all right?
So luckily we are on schedule and on time. We're doing great even after the short power loss that we had due to that storm. We got right back on schedule and going. So right now we're working on interior framing and wall blocking. We're continuing hollow metal door frames and window frame and window installation. We're working on the AVB and brick veneer. We have quite a few pictures on the website of that. It's looking awesome. And we're continuing testing and inspections of rebar, concrete, masonry, and compaction. We're installing sheetrock and insulation, and we are still working on in-wall rough for plumbing and electrical. So right now we're only topping off walls. We're installing HVAC ductwork and piping, and we just paved this past Saturday, the binder coat, and we're continuing our safety walks. We had quite a few meetings this last month for the interior finishes, communications, furniture, and also a few commissioning meetings in there for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and tomorrow we have one for the building envelope. Can go forward. Right, so this is some of our rough progress here, the HVAC ductwork, which we're protecting all over the job site, and then our in-wall plumbing rough. That's ongoing. This is a progress of our sheathing and air vapor barrier on the exterior. Will be weather tight soon before the winter.
It's such a cool photo of that flashing.
Yeah, that was a really good one. And then here we have the brick veneer with the flashing on top. So the brick's looking really good. And then we have our window trim and our window installation. And then we poured stair 3 this week, so we're no longer using scaffolding on site. We're able to use the stair now that it's cured. So that's one of the skylight installation on the left there. And then we're just topping off walls now and putting insulation in. So this is just our 3-week look ahead of some of the activities that are coming forward. We're continuing to bring up the site to subgrade. We're continuing site lighting. We're continuing the road by the senior center. We removed the unsuitables and they're working on the sewer line now. We're beginning curving today and that should carry through this week. For electrical work, we're just continuing rough around the building and also site lighting. For plumbing, we're also continuing in-wall rough and installing carriers. For roofing, they're not on site right now, but they will be back. And then we're continuing mechanical ductwork, pipe hangers, setting the fan curbs. Continuing sprinkler piping, the brick veneer, which you saw, the ground face CMU, and then just continuing with interior framing, door frames, and then just topping off the drywall, which I spoke about earlier, continuing that air vapor barrier and the through wall flashing, working on stairs 1, 2, and 3. We're also installing windows and sunshade brackets and the skylights, and we poured stair 3 and we paved on Saturday. So this is just some of the upcoming activities, just a highlight of what we spoke about. We're still on schedule. So our next meeting is scheduled for December 13th and then January 10th in the new year. So this is just an update of the project budget. Nothing has really changed in the contingency other than the change orders that we've approved. So that's brought us to that $175,000 mark. And then the miscellaneous cost is testing and inspections. So there's no really other costs on those 2 categories as far as the construction, the design, the OPM. Those are continuing, billing monthly. And then just an update on the ProPay. We're currently getting up to date on the last few ProPays. I believe we're just missing a few signatures. So I'll be sending out reminder emails. We got an email today from MSBA just reminding us before closing out the fiscal year. So we're just missing a few signatures and I'll get that out. I think that's it. If anyone has any questions.
This is Harsh. I have one question. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay. Sorry. During the vote, I was trying to call out that I didn't get called on, but I guess my mute button was not coming off. Anyway, I'm here now. Thank you.
Looks like Joe has his hand up too.
Yeah, just a quick question with the storm last week, and was there any damage done that we need to be able to purchase additional supplies, or kind of just an explanation of how well we fared through the storm with the construction project?
Yeah, we lost power for one day. It basically was some kind of pole on the street that went down that wasn't on our site, but most of that street lost power. It took about one day for it to get back up and running. We didn't have any site damages. There was a tree in the neighbor's yard that fell over. But again, that wasn't on the school or project property. And then there was no other damage from our site or in the neighboring sites. So we actually fared pretty well. There was a tree that was hanging over the site a little bit and it didn't fall. So there was really no damage, and we were back up and running in a day. So it wasn't a major impact to the site.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Great. And you're welcome to come with a scheduled visit. I can give tours to anyone who wants. I know Derek and Ryan were on site a couple weeks ago, which was nice. I'm sure Derek can tell you that it changed quite a bit. The progress is really coming along. We're almost past that 50% mark. So we're making really good progress.
Alyssa?
Yes.
This is Kathy Mosquito. I'm just questioning when those pro pays may be accepted. I know 21, 22, and 23 were done quite a while ago. Just submitted 24. We'll be getting ready to do 25 next week. So I'm just a little concerned as what's held them up.
It's just a signature. Just a signature. So
yeah, but
I'll get
a signature. Is it someone at Daedalus or someone at
it's not someone at Daedalus.
Okay.
But I know Sydney was following up on it. So I'll get those reminders out again to make sure that we're getting those in.
Alyssa, it's on the MSBA side?
No, it's on our project team side, but it's not us.
All right, so could you send me something to let me know when they'll be coming, when you anticipate that signature to be done?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, we try to do our very best to get them to you right away. And, you know, if it's taking all this time to get a signature, then I don't know why I'm rushing so much.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, we can talk offline about it.
Rather quickly.
Yeah, we can talk offline about it because I don't want to place the blame on anyone.
Okay.
Well, but we'll get it done.
I'm looking for it. Okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Okay.
Mark just got his hand raised virtually and literally. Oh, you're on mute, Mark.
Would help. Sorry about that. Are people there on site Friday the 12th?
Yeah, so Alyssa, the site is shut down for Thursday, but open Friday, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna be in touch. I'd love to come by and take a look. I'm off that day.
Great. I'll be there.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions on the OPM update? All right, we'll move on to the designer update.
Hello, everyone. Alyssa, can I share my screen? I assume I can. I can. Look at that. All right. Can everyone see my screen? The title of a slideshow?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, great. Well, our major thing tonight is to present to you, the full school building committee, the recommendations that RDA and Angela O'Brien from OSO and your colors subcommittee are making for the everything in the school. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to, if we have your approval tonight, issue to Bacon, whether it's tomorrow or sometime this week, a series of drawings that look like this drawing, all the floor plans, and it would show each room and what all the floor patterns are and all the colors in each room. And then also it'll identify where we have accent wall colors. And it will allow Bacon to order materials and schedule the installation of everything that they're going to need to install in the months to come. So this is an example of one of probably 8 or 9 drawings that Steve from our office has developed. And what I want to go through with you tonight, we have a number of slides. I'll try to go through them fairly quickly. Is I want to go through how we're kind of the color theory for the building. We touched on this a little bit during the design phase. And then, as I said, we've been working more intently with the color subcommittee over the past couple of weeks on developing all the specifics for this. And the reason it's been more intense during construction instead of during design is we've actually had to wait to see what the various subcontractors are using for materials, because as a public job, they always have a choice of 3 manufacturers. And we collected samples from their approved materials and have used those to actually lay out the patterns and the colors throughout the building. So in the big picture, and I hope maybe you'll remember, maybe you won't, this is the first floor plan of the building. The front door is down here where my cursor is spinning around. You come into the main lobby, and then there's a kindergarten wing on the first floor. There's 11 kindergarten rooms plus some sped spaces. There's the administrative suite on the opposite side of the lobby. And then this is the pre-kindergarten wing over here. What we've done, as you might recall, is each of the wings, so kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, first and second, all have their own color identity. And it shows up most easily in the floor plans or the floor finishes. In the kindergarten wing, the kindergarten color is this yellow. In the pre-K wing, the color is blue. So it shows up in the floor. There's some light blue, and then there's some dark blue accents. I don't know if you remember, but this is rubber flooring, and we are taking areas where there's floor openings above and cutting in some leaf patterns in an accent color. We're doing the same thing over in the kindergarten wing. And we're doing these again where there's floor openings either above or in this case above and below, because there's a glassed opening that goes down to the floor below, the ground floor below. The main colors all show up in the lobby, and they'll show up in some other common spaces as well. So the kindergarten yellow shows up. The second grade purple shows up. The first grade green shows up, and the pre-K blue shows up. Then the fifth color is actually Bridgewater red. And that's the color on the ground floor where the gymnasium and the cafeteria are. So again, each wing, I'll show you some pictures, has its own kind of color identity. And then in common areas, all the colors come together. Now, if you took a look at the kindergarten wing, and we kind of zoomed into it a little bit, even though the wing color is yellow with the accent yellow, also a little, kind of orangey, we don't want every classroom, again, there's 11 or 12 classrooms in this wing. We don't want them all to be yellow. So what we're doing is we're pulling the accent color that's in the floor into each classroom. You can see these little orange dots. And then we're using different wall color accents. Most of the walls are going to be a white or an off-white, but the teaching wall will have an accent color. And each one of the rooms, we're trying to stagger the colors. And it shows up on the teaching wall, but then it also shows up as kind of two tiles in this pattern on the floor. So even though each floor has these orange dots that reflect the corridor color, this room would have a yellow accent wall. This room would have a blue accent wall. This one would have green, and on and on. Again, we want to, we don't want to bore everybody and have the same color in all the rooms. As I said, we made use of all the approved submittals. And this is a board that shows, we always start kind of with the floors because paint colors are very flexible. We can find pretty much any paint color we want to match a floor. But what we've done is, again, second grade is this purple. The pre-K, which I showed you, is blue, field color and accent. First grade is green, that's up on the second floor, and the kindergarten is the yellow with the yellow accent. The ground floor, this looks kind of maroony, but this is going to be a red that's much closer to the Bridgewater red. The wood in the building is going to be white ash, so the doors will have a wood, an ash wood veneer. When we end up working with the casework, the cabinets, the wall cabinets, base cabinets in the various rooms, they'll be made out of Formica. They won't be wood. They'll be much more durable, but it'll be an ash colored Formica that is a very close match to the ash on the doors. As I said, we start with the floor tile accents, and then we kind of pick paint color accents that go with them. So one wall out of the four walls in most rooms is going to have this accent color. And most of the time it's on the teaching wall because we want to bring people's attention to that, make sure that they're kind of focused on the teacher. The remainder of the wall is going to be this white, off-white. Door frames are going to be a light gray, a warm gray. Acoustic ceiling tiles are, not surprisingly, going to be white. And when we do have ash built-ins, we're going to have a Corian or solid surface top on them, including the bookcases along the exterior wall, all the tall storage for the teachers, the sink bases, all the tops will be this Corian. Let me show you. This is a view of the kindergarten corridor. So remember that the kindergarten was, based on this yellow theme, and it has kind of a lighter yellow, and it looks orange, but it's, a complementary deeper yellow. So that shows up on the floor. The complementary color comes down through the corridor because the teaching staff wants to make sure that they can train kids to kind of line up and go in a straight line when they're going down the corridor. Where there's an extended learning space, it would have a video monitor on the wall. So the main corridor is here, right? But every once in a while, there's this alcove that leads to a couple of classroom doors, and there'd be a work table out here, and there'd be a video monitor on the wall. So there'd be an accent color. This is where the paint colors come into play at the extended learning spaces. You can see another one down here. And then the ceiling over the extending learning space is a metal ceiling that looks like strips of wood. And again, we've picked an ash, we've picked a finish that looks like the ash that's going to be on the doors. Everything, 4 feet above the ground is going to be a porcelain wall tile. So, it's very durable. Very cleanable. It's either that, a door, or glass. In this case, it's a glass. You're coming from the lobby looking down toward the end of the building. In this case, the glass is looking down into the gymnasium below. Then, I don't know if you remember, but we had floor openings that occur. And there's a floor opening in this case, we're on the first floor. There's a floor opening to the second floor, right, which is the first grade wing. And then there's a floor opening to the ground floor, excuse me. And we have a series of acoustic panels that have a wood veneer. The wood veneer can show up in multiple shades of wood, or they can be painted. And the thought was that there were vertical elements that grow up through the building, kind of tying into the theme of growth that we established a long time ago. So these ash acoustic panels, these are the wood veneer selections we had available. And as I said, sometimes we're going to take these and we're going to paint some of them too. Excuse me. So I'll kind of stop there. Does anyone have any questions about how we've organized these classroom wings, or what the public spaces might look like?
Jean, can you go back to the hallway? Was that blue? I didn't notice. Was that blue line taken out of the common space down where you enter?
I'm so sorry. So Lil, this one here?
Nope.
Is it a 3D view or a plan?
No, it was the first slide number 3, is it?
It might be this. It could be that.
That one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, the blue line was taken out. Okay.
Red line. It was
Oh,
red.
the red line, but there was a talk of a blue line too, so it's gone. So we're good.
Good.
Yeah, all set.
Good. So on the second floor, right, that's the first and second grade. It's the same palette. We want to make sure we use the same palette throughout the building so that, the building, everything ties together. In this case, the second floor are going to be the violet colors. The first grade above the gymnasium is going to be the green palette. On the upper floor, there are gang toilet rooms, because there are toilet rooms on the first floor, but they're all individual kindergarten or pre-K toilet rooms. So we have some glass accent wall tiles, which are going to be blue for boys and green for girl. We have porcelain tile on the floor. Our toilet partitions are solid surface. They'll never rust, but they kind of our play on the door frame color, and they work well with the ash that shows up in different places. We don't have doors on the toilet rooms unless it's pre-K or K, but you know, we want to make sure this whole palette works together well. So on the second floor, we have the violet corridor, you know, with a base color and an accent color. You can see that we have the same kind of color in the gang bathrooms. This is in the second grade wing. On the first grade wing, we have the green corridor and we have green porcelain tile in the bathrooms. We'll come to the media center eventually, but we have a series of multiple colors because the media center is open to all the grade levels, not just first grade. And then we follow through with the same idea. If it's a purple corridor, we have dots of purple in all the classroom floors. But we, in this case, would have a yellow accent wall, which shows up on the entrance corridor to the classroom. And in this case, we'd have a mauve accent wall. When we get into common spaces, like the computer lab, the art rooms, the maker lab, you'll see in some of the renderings that we're not following this pattern with the corridor color and an accent wall color. We're making use of all 5 colors for the 5 wings in the floor pattern in those rooms, because they're common rooms. They're common to all the grade levels. So where on the first floor, it's kindergarten and pre-K, there are cubbies inside the classrooms, right? Open cubbies. On the second floor, there are metal lockers for the first grade and second grade. And this is in the first grade corridor. This is at a floor opening. You can see the multicolor ash vertical panels that have acoustic properties, you know, kind of going down from the skylight through the building. Most of the corridors are this base wall paint, but you see the green accent color on soffits. And you also see it in the extended learning spaces again. And you also have that special ceiling, that metal linear ceiling in the extended learning spaces. So where the corridor color or theme is green, and it has acoustic ceiling tile and kind of neutral wall paint, you'll notice that the extended learning spaces have a different floor color. They have green lockers in this case. They have accent wall tiles. They have a different ceiling, and they have different light fixtures. In this case, these are drums that are kind of wrapped in a fabric that are very much different from the lighting in the main corridor. This is another view. The extended learning space is over here on the right, kind of around the corner. But as you come down the corridor, this is where there's a floor opening to below, which is the kindergarten wing. And this is one of those translucent skylights that's bringing light not only to this corridor, but down through the building. And these are these multicolor acoustic panels that'll kind of travel down through the building, kind of representing, you know, like a tree growing up through the building. And this is the space, again, up on the second floor outside the media center. So this stair opening, you would come up from the main lobby and you'd land here. This is the green first floor corridor. And if you came kind of out of the picture or turned around and went the other way, you'd be going over the bridge through the lobby. But there's an extended learning space outside the media center, which is behind this glass wall. And it starts to get repetitive, but that's important that you have consistency. So we have the ash metal ceiling, the fabric covered light fixtures, the different flooring, and, you know, as you can see, green accents, even though it's kind of a common space, the green accents for the second floor.
Gene, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So on that slide right there, it says lobby blue stripe. That's coming out, right? Because we're not using the blue in the lobby anymore.
Well, yeah, you're right. The word lobby is, I mean, blue is incorrect. Steve, chime in, but what I was just gonna say was really the dedicated first floor space starts here. And this space in this zone here is kind of common space, Dennis. So we have some of the green, but we wanted to color and bring another color through.
Right, it just won't be blue, right?
Steve, what are you thinking for that color? I don't mind.
I think we were going to be sticking with the blue. The red went away in the lobby.
But the
And
blue,
yeah, it may have been
the
a
blue is the
holdover from,
preschool hallway color, right?
yes.
It is. It is.
I mean, I think the blue was kind of a holdover from when we were doing the, you know, the ripples on the water. If we want to rethink that secondary color, you know, it could be the second gray. It could be the medium gray, which we have in the lobby.
Yeah,
that's more of a neutral.
Yeah. Well, we were
Lil
trying
can
to
decide that.
What'd you say, Lil could decide?
Lil can pick the color, yes.
Well, we did feel it was important that it not be yellow out here or blue, completely blue in here, just because it was neutral territory, so to speak.
And I know it would be too much red, so.
Red would be very aggressive. We did, by the way, we did use red in the vestibules and at the end. Red's a very powerful color, but it's symbolic of Bridgewater. But we stayed away from it inside the main lobby and just used it sparingly, even down on the first floor, the ground floor, which you'll see. So Lil, maybe we can circle back to you tomorrow and hear your thoughts on the blue,
Oh, I think we shall.
Okay. All right. So what Dennis was talking about was these blue stripes in the neutral area. And like I said, we'll circle back and see what Ms. Holbrook has to say about it. So that's the second floor corridors. The ground floor is, we actually, as I said before, this looks kind of more burgundy than the color will end up being. But the thought was that we use a neutral color in the main floor and that we use a kind of what I'll call a Bridgewater red, or at least the closest we can get to it from the selected color palette. And the doors to the gymnasium would be highlighted. The gym itself is a wood floor, but it would have red accents. And the floor openings again are marked. So there's a hole in the ceiling here, right, where the natural light's coming down from that big skylight. And at the floor openings, we have these leaf patterns again that are cut into the flooring tiles. And in this case, we use all 5 colors, again, to symbolize that this area is neutral territory, even though Derek and some other people on the subcommittee were like, wow, we really should make use of red here, because there'll be a lot of townspeople that come in and make use the athletic facilities. So I think this works out really well. The cafeteria is kind of, I'll call it a plaid, but again, it makes use of all the colors, the 5 wing colors. And the music rooms, if you remember, are back in here. There's 2 of them. And again, we're making use of all the colors in the floor pattern, making use of all the colors in the teacher workroom. So when we get into the gym, there's a big M on the floor from Mitchell. Here it's upside down, but people coming into the gym, it'll be right side up to them. We have wall padding all the way around the gym. Again, a red color, the red scoreboard, and I think we'll end up seeing more red on the bleachers because they have plastic risers, I'll call them, as well as seats. But we looked at blue, we looked at combinations of blue and red, and the color committee, and I think Steve and Angela even came down to the fact, let's just keep it consistent and keep the kind of the red and white theme for Bridgewater. This is looking in the gym the other way. This is the stage opening, the proscenium, and in this case, the folding partition is closed. There'll be times when this is open and the basketball hoops are raised up, and this is a whole school assembly area. So this is that same ground floor, and I have to ask you to use your imagination. At first, we were looking at it as a blue, just kind of a restful blue. So if you came in from the bus, you'd be passing the cafeteria, you'd come down the hall, you'd be looking into the PE office, and then this is a door into the gymnasium. So everything you're seeing here in this dark blue is now the Bridgewater red. That'll pop up into this soffit as well. And then we kept the multicolored leaves, but we turned this lighter blue into that neutral that I showed you a few slides back. So that corridor now, we were looking from here toward the gymnasium doors. Everything is kind of red and white, right? Which are the Bridgewater colors. This again, wrong color palette, but we didn't have time to change it. It's where we started. And this is why it was great to work with the committee, because, we got immediate reactions and good ideas. I think this corridor is going to be a lot more effective with the red accent. But just so you can get a vision, or maybe remember, when you're coming in from the bus entrance, you'll be able to look into the cafeteria. These are the doors into the caf. And then this whole wall here is looking into the cafeteria as well. And this is all that school guard glass that we talked about. At the end of the corridor is the stair that goes up into the main lobby. I don't know. So does anyone have any feedback or thoughts on the corridor schemes? Assuming not, I will. I'll go through some of the other rooms. The music classrooms, again, they're in a common space. So we're going to use all the colors in the floor pattern. The accent walls will be different. In this case, it's a blue accent wall. In the other music room, it might be a yellow or a green. Looking at the other way, you're still in the music room, and that's the door to the corridor. All the classrooms are going to have these tall storage units, wall cabinets, base cabinets, 2 sinks, storage shelf above. And in the case of the music, they'll have a wall full of open shelving for instrument storage and other paraphernalia. The teaching wall, again, it'll be an accent color on the teaching wall. The teaching wall is made up of the marker board, a video monitor, which is interactive, and then tack boards, but also this tack strip that we were asked to put in so that you could put, a long string of letters or numbers or other teaching materials kind of above that just stay on display. Some of the rooms have acoustic panels And it makes sense to do that in music. And in this case, it's, we make it, even though we have an accent color here, we make it a deeper accent color just to differentiate it from the drywall. The pre-kindergarten, this is probably going to start to get a little repetitive, but this shows kindergarten classrooms, right? And kindergarten's on the yellow corridor. So I don't know if you remember, but when you come into the classroom, there's a little alcove with cubbies, right? There's no lockers out in the hallway. And then you come in, and this is where we're making use of the accent color as little dots. And then the wall accent color are the 2 tiles. So in this case, it's the orange dots from the corridor, but it's a purple accent wall compared to a yellow accent wall. This is an example where you see the corridor color in 1 tile, and you see the accent color in 2 tiles. So it's a very regimented system. And in this case, also looking back toward the hallway, this is where the cubby alcove is, right? So there's open cubbies before you get to the corridor door, and they're with that ash veneer. Another view of the pre-K. In this case, the alcove is in the foreground. We're looking out toward the toward the windows. There's bookshelves on the outside wall. The teaching wall is accented, and there's a number of built-ins and there's always a secondary teaching wall in all these classrooms. So I won't go on and on with these. The 1st grade and 2nd grade classrooms are all kind of the same theme. Accent walls, the 2 tiles reflecting that, the single tiles reflecting the corridor color, and very similar to the pre-K and K. In the common spaces like art and maker, in this case, you'll see that the floor patterns are all set. Steve and Angela using the green from the corridor, but then using all the other wing colors in the floor pattern. So all 5 colors again on the floor pattern. In this case, there's a folding partition, which is kind of a neutral gray. All the ash built-ins in the art classroom. And then this is a better picture of the folding partition that'll open up to the maker space. And part of the folding partition will have marker board surface on it. So when it's closed, this serves as the secondary teaching wall. The maker space is actually going to have near the corridor some acoustic ceiling tile, but there'll be a soffit. And then there's going to be exposed mechanical systems that'll be painted, kind of nice colors. There's an overhead garage door onto the learning deck, acoustic wall panels that are a little deeper shade of the accent wall. And again, all 5 colors on the floor pattern. This is another view looking from the outside back toward the corridor where the acoustic ceiling tile system is, and then the exposed mechanical duct and structural deck are kind of here in the foreground. These happen to be electrical cord reels, so if so they can pull down power, move tables around, and do activities that require electrical power. The media center is one of the spaces that's carpeted. And in this case, Angela and Steve were looking at doing a pattern with 4 different carpet colors. And they're shown in stripes here, 3 of the colors. The 4th are going to be little alcoves. There's a story alcove where there's one of those artificial trees. There's another small alcove here that looks down into the lobby. There happens to be a movable partition, and when it's open, the media center opens to the computer lab. So we're bringing the carpet through to the computer lab. And carpet in the media center is appropriate in that, you know, kids are sitting on the floor and it also absorbs sound. So it's good for a couple different reasons there. This is, if you came into the media center, there'd be a teaching wall on the far left end, exterior windows. And then this is actually a bay. It's that story alcove that pushes out from the main facade of the building. And there'd be a little amphitheater here that's a piece of furnishings, and then a tree, an artificial tree that's part of the furnishings as well. And this is looking back. These won't be the exact colors. These won't be even the colors. We just showed primary colors. This is a piece of furniture, so it still needs to be selected. But you can see the carpet on the floor in different colors. You can see the tree, the story kind of amphitheater, the glass looking out into the second grade hallway, first grade hallway, and the glass looking down to the lobby. Another view of the media center. This is the wall that opens up to the computer lab. So that's why we brought the carpet pattern through the computer lab, because this is a pretty good extent of wall. So when it's open, it's important that this space read as one space. The ceilings are going to have ash wood that breaks up the big ceiling into these square panels of acoustic ceiling tile. We're going to have pendant light fixtures that pick up on the square pattern up in the ceiling. And here is just, this is in front of the teaching wall, kind of on the lobby end of the library. You can see the carpet in the background is the story alcove, and then the folding partition that opens up to the computer lab. The main lobby. This was very interesting. I'm actually going to I'm going to start with this and then go back. When we originally were working during the design period, we thought that we have this bridge going through the lobby, and we thought it would be kind of cool if people imagined stones, you know, being dropped off the bridge into water, and then rings kind of coming out from where the stone hit the surface. And we went through this with the building committee or the subcommittee, and I think pretty much right away they're like, whoa, that's really busy. And to be honest, I think they picked up on a thought that we were having at the same time. So they asked us to go back and take a look at some simpler patterns, and that's where we ended up landing, which was bringing the Bridgewater red at the two entrances. This is the main entrance. This is the entrance to the pre-K play area, and then bringing the wing colors kind of in a plaid pattern through the length of the lobby. So we went from, you know, the kind of organic busy floor to something that looks like this. It's a little calmer, and it probably ties in better with all the various colors in the wings. We also had been looking at acoustic, well, we have ash acoustic panels here, again in a vertical wood kind of orientation. But in between, we have fabric covered acoustic panels. And we were originally thinking about making use of 4 or 5 different shades of fabric for the panels. And then, you know, with that busy floor pattern. And what we did is we calmed down the floor pattern, and then we calmed down the panels by making them all kind of one shade of dark green. So as you kind of come into the lobby, and then here you're looking from the pre-K play area back toward the main entrance. There's a glass wall of the school guard glass that leads to the stairways going down to the ground floor or up to the media center. There are tile walls, and the tile is arranged in vertical patterns, again, trying to emphasize, the idea of growth. There's the green here gets carried into the green up on the top. There's a wood ceiling, right? That's a grate system, I'll call it, and has fabric on top. This has acoustical properties, and we're not exactly sure, but we're trying to get a fabric that is kind of a sky blue, and they're they're installed in a checkerboard pattern. So sometimes the veins are going left to right, sometimes they're going up and down, but it adds a lot of interest and texture to the ceiling. And then also in the lobby, there's a big skylight. So this place will be flooded with natural light. But this is kind of a view of the multicolored floor. As you come into the building, the skylight, ceiling, green panels, and tile walls. Just another view of the same thing. This is where we were. I just wanted to show this because this is where we were with multiple greens. Again, we decided to go with a single, but then every once in a while there's glass that goes into either ELL space or a classroom or extended learning space upstairs. This is where we ended up with the one color green. And when you're on the bridge looking toward the pre-K wing, you'll see a lot of these fabric panels. This looks into the English language learners space. And this is looking back toward the first grade corridor with the green accents. We're almost done, I promise. This is what the floor used to look like in the lobby. But in the admin, this is another place where privacy and acoustics are important. So the administrative suite makes use of carpet. There's counseling offices. There's, principal, administrative, more counseling, kind of down the hallway. So we broke it up so the public areas where the main office is and the main counter, as well as a corridor, are one shade of blue, and all these other offices are a shade of gray. The cafeteria, I had shown, again, this is a neutral white now with red accents, but we again have that plaid floor pattern with all the various colors. And this is a couple views I'll show you. We have the multicolor ash acoustic panels. We're using them as a stage surround. In this case, the panels are opening and you can see the teaching wall on the stage. The gymnasium's on the other side to the right. The kitchen serveries to the left, and we're looking out toward the playground. So again, we're bringing those same multicolor ash acoustic panels that were going up through the building into this space. We're also using, again, the rectilinear light fixtures. And we don't have ash on the ceiling, but we still have the ceiling broken up into little square pieces that are kind of reflected in the floor plan as well. This is as if you are coming in from the playground. The stage is on your left. Both doors are open and you can see the gym beyond. Remember that these went from blue to red, the wall pads, but the windows to the corridor on the ground floor, then there's windows to the corridor on the kindergarten wing on the second floor as well. And there's more of these acoustic panels that are made up of ash and painted ash. So I think that's a lot, but that's where we ended up. And as I said, we didn't end up where we started. So we really appreciated, the ideas that came out from the people we were working with. And I think we did a pretty good job where we ended up. I don't know if Lil, Dennis, Derek, anyone wants to say anything, or if anyone has any questions, but I'll stop talking.
Gina, I just had a question. This is Lisa.
Yeah, hi.
It looks great. I like it. I just had a question. We've been talking about the furniture, and I know we're having that meeting on Wednesday. We were curious, those storage cabinets in the all the classrooms, are those going to be just shelved? Are they going to be like at Mitchell, we had these pull-out cubby things, but are they going to be like shelved inside?
They are going to have shelves inside.
Okay, adjustable?
Yes.
Okay, and how about underneath the windows, the bookcases? Are they the full length or just?
Full length. Well, the bookcases are going to be fairly deep. We'll have one adjustable shelf.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I'm sorry. So the window pattern, Lisa, typically
Yep.
you have two short windows and there's bookcases below them. And then
Okay.
one of the windows goes down to the floor or close.
Yeah,
to the
okay.
floor.
I noticed that from outside. We were just wondering, we have pretty substantial classroom libraries. Everybody's kind of trying to plan, we have to move, we have to figure out our layout there.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of shelving, it seems.
Well.
Were they like 2 4-foot sections, something like that?
Oh, no. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm gonna guess they're 3-foot sections and there's probably 5 of them.
If not more. I mean, the typical
good.
room is like 28 feet wide, so
Okay.
it's 2/3 of that, whatever my math is. And so 18 feet maybe.
Nice, okay,
So 6 3-foot units.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
nice, okay, that's great, thank you.
I don't know if you remember, Lisa, but we have a lot of tall storage, right? One
Yep.
of the doors is teacher wardrobe, but one of them we divided in half, so there's storage above. But with these 2 doors, you can open them up and wheel in a computer cart
Okay, oh yeah, I remember that now.
to
Okay,
get plugged in.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing I wanted to say, Lisa, is I don't know if you remember, but we above the wall, like this is the computer cabinet, right? And then tall storage and then, kind of regular kitchen storage. But we put a storage shelf above this whole thing. So if you have bins for various units that you use throughout the year, there's space to store them.
And I know they had to be 18 inches from the ceiling. Isn't that what they had to be 18
the
space?
height?
The height, I remember talking that if you put anything up there still has to be like 18 inches between whatever you put up there and the ceiling.
The
Some
sprinklers,
conversation about that.
Yeah.
the sprinklers, right, Gene?
Well, I'll let you fight with the fire department about that.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sorry to be long-winded, everybody, but there was a lot of work that was reviewed, and I just wanted to make sure that people had a good mental image of kind of what's to come.
Yeah, Gene, no, it's great. I mean, it's an overwhelming amount of information for someone like me, but I can really appreciate all the work and the detailed process that the team used to arrive at this presentation.
Yeah. So it's again, it's important that there's you don't want everything to be the same, but you want to have consistent themes, throughout the building. And I think we've got a great balance between consistency and differentiation. So if the committee's, I don't know, able to endorse what the subcommittee is presenting tonight, again, we will issue to Bacon, these detailed plans for kind of every space in the building, and they'll order their materials and be on their way.
Yeah, so I don't know if we need a vote, but Does anybody have any questions or, I mean, it seems to be just to be, if this subcommittee is happy, then we should just move it along, right?
That'd be my suggestion.
So the pressure's on Lil, I think. What does Lil think?
Oh, boy. I absolutely love it. The blue, I think, needs to go through that line as I'm thinking about it because of the fact that that color seems to blend with all the other colors. So I think that blue line is okay. I did notice towards the end, Jean, that you did have those red lines in there again.
Oh, I'm gonna apologize. We didn't update every slide though, but
Okay, just be sure that doesn't go to bacon because my head will pop off.
were you in the lobby where you saw them?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I apologize. We didn't get to every slide.
that's okay. I just want to be sure that that doesn't go to bacon. Yep,
Oh,
slide, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, and 54, yeah,
Yeah, right here, yes.
okay, yeah,
Oh.
perfect.
So what's the process, Dean, do you anticipate? I mean, you have a few things that, you mentioned you still have to update in this document anyways. Is that gonna ultimately go back to the subcommittee and then be published to Bacon, or what are you thinking?
I'm gonna assume they have, we understand what they want. We just didn't update every slide, John. So
Okay.
it could go to the subcommittee, but honestly, I feel like we understand what they want. And I think we should just try to get these finished drawings to Bacon ASAP. Well, the red stripe in the lobby, that'll definitely be taken out. But I think everything else was pretty good.
Okay, so I don't see, I don't have any objections to that. It's really the subcommittee that's putting all the work in, up to them, right?
Yeah. Well, I can, I mean, again, I'm not hearing a lot of objections, so I can stop sharing my screen if everyone's okay.
Yeah, I don't see anybody.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, John, it's Pat.
Hey, Pat.
I have about 5 minutes before I have another meeting, but I don't want you guys to lose quorum. So do we have 2 more votes on budgets? For,
We have a requisition and a change order.
if I sign off, do we have enough people, or do you want me to stay off through those? Does anybody know?
We're have to drop.
Are you good with me, or do you need me to stay or no?
No, we're okay if you have to drop. We have a quorum still.
Okay, I'm gonna drop then.
Sorry,
also-
John.
Good job, Bob.
Sorry. I'm also leaving the meeting if you guys are all set with with me.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Angela.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, was that it for the designer update, Gene? I think so. Steve, do you know?
I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Gene, is there any more?
No more. I'm sorry, John was talking to me about Terrazzo.
Okay, well, thank you. Again, nice presentation. We'll move on to item 8, approval of Bacon payment requisition number 10. Alyssa, is there anything to go over on that to talk us through
Yeah.
that, or
I can,
Michael?
I'll pull it up. But there is no comments from us, just a clean one.
All right, does somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve Bacon payment requisition number 10 in the amount of $3,871,051.
Matt Rushton, second that.
All right, let's take the roll.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Harsh.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. Item 9, approval of Bacon change order number 7. And I think RDA had some explanatory material or backup on that, but I'll let you take it, Mike or Alyssa.
Yeah, well, so part of RDA's narrative was change order 6. That was the unsuitable soils. That was approved in our interim emergency meeting. So this is just change order 7. It's made up of 3 different PCOs. You'll see number 10 is a pretty low number now that we're in the mid to late 30s. That's one that's been on the log for a long time. We went back and forth on the pricing of it, not on the merit of it. We knew it was a change, but we didn't see the pricing that we expected on what they were giving back to us for credit within it. And we finally got there after holding them to the fire for a while to where us and RDA felt comfortable approving. Gene, I don't know if you guys have any comments or by way of explanation, or you want to support the narrative that went with these.
So this is miscellaneous steel changes. As Mike said, we refused. Well, I think originally it was submitted for somewhere around $20,000, right, John?
Right.
So it's been many months of just saying, no, we're not approving any more than this. And eventually that's where it's settled. So, it's fair, it's reasonable, and it's something we recommend, we're okay to recommend at this point, months later.
Gene, I'll go back to you for the gyp sealing, but just quick on the generator for temp power. This is a little added cost where we had to bring in generators for temp power. And this was the issue with the contractor was planning to use the primary electrical, the new duct bank conduits, or at least that duct bank for the temp electric in the meantime, because of the National Grid easement issue that we had. I guess there was an easement on the property. When we demoed the old primary service, we needed to prove to N-Grid all over again that there was an easement. And that time period basically was where we had to bring in generators for the temp power. That's what this cost reflects. And then ASI 6 added gyp sealing. Gene, that's just what it says, right?
Yeah, we have an electrical closet. It's a normal electrical closet under a stairwell, and it is not required to be a rated room. But John was just going through, the building, and he said, "Boy, for a couple $1,000, we ought to just put in a gypsum ceiling here, kind of as a belt and suspenders, protection for the underside of the stairway. In the case, in the extremely rare chance that there was ever any kind of fire going on in that electrical closet." But again, it's not emergency power, so it's not required to be in a rated room. We just, like I said, just think this is kind of a good practice and a kind of belts and suspender for a a what if, somewhere down the line.
Okay.
Are there any questions or comments on these 3 PCOs or the change order overall?
Looks reasonable to me.
Well, I know we say this every time, but by the time they get to this point, they've been through a lot between RDA and us, and we make sure it is.
All right, are there any questions? Or further discussion? All right. We need a motion.
John, I can't see the total price. If someone could just help me, because I can't see it on the iPad, but
$5,152.73.
No, yeah, so that's the total of the first PCO.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Am I still sharing my screen right now?
Mhm.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I just highlighted the total.
yeah, if someone could just make the motion. I just can't see the total.
You want me to do it, John?
Yeah.
So motion to approve change order number 7 in the amount of $10,000 to $10,232.54.
Excellent. Matt Rushton, second.
So,
Actually, this
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I just said it so Matt could make it, and then someone else has to second. Right?
seconded. It's Mike Dolan.
I'm just Matt's scribe right now.
Apologize on the confusion. I just can't see the screen. It's glasses.
yeah, got it. Okay, so the motion was made by Matthew and seconded by Mike Dolan. So we'll take the roll.
John,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Sorry. Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Harsh.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. Item 10, report of the communication group. Any report?
Sorry, I was mute. The only thing that we have to report is that the website continues to be a source of information for the neighbors. This Saturday, heard that work was done and we posted all of that information on the website, as well as the neighbors received the letter from Melissa. So thank you, Alyssa, for doing that. And we continue to discuss the opening of the building, which is a little scary to talk about, considering this has been a 7-year project. But we're ready. So more to come on the open.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the communication group? All right, item 11, next meeting. I believe it's December 13th. And any questions on that? Item 12, new business. Anybody have any new business? All right, seeing and hearing none. Item 13, public comment.
I just have something I'd like to comment. This is Lisa.
Go, Lisa.
I know the teachers are gonna be meeting Wednesday to talk about the furniture and, we've been going over the choices. Are all those furniture choices like set in stone as far as the options go? Do we know?
They're not set in stone, but they're, I guess I'm just gonna call them recommendations, Lisa.
Okay.
There's been real problems with getting furniture like everything else.
I'm sure.
For some reason in the last year. But we are definitely open to, if you want to bring to that meeting, pictures or catalog cuts of different things, we could at least react to it. And
Okay.
maybe it'd be great, and maybe we'd have some recommendations about it.
Okay, well, I was just, because we've been, second grade met informally today before Wednesday to meet. And, a couple of things are those, everybody is like shocked at the 2-drawer file cabinets. Like, could we get a 4-drawer file cabinet? Something like that.
Wow.
The question with the student chairs, this is the first year I've ever had desks. And so right now we have the desks are adjustable, the chairs are not. So like I have a student that's very small. So we said, oh, well, let's just bring the desk down. Well, then there's no room for their legs because of the chair is one height.
Oh.
We were a little concerned that those chairs are not adjustable height wise.
All right.
Those are just like, you'll hear that on Wednesday, but just kind of like those are the two big things.
Okay, well, good. That's it. I mean, that's the intent on Wednesday for
Yeah.
sure. So,
Just a heads up.
thank you.
John, if I, real quick on that, I want, and this is for you and everybody, actually, we have to be really careful about ordering and making sure that we get all of the furniture in on time. The supply chain for everything, not just furniture, is impacted. So we need to make sure that when we open, we're opening with new furniture and not stuff from where you are right now. So that's why we're pushing so hard to get that order in, because we don't want, use the expression, lipstick on a pig. But so that's just a note.
Michael, that's a good point. Gene, do you have a feel for where we are in that timeline? On schedule, behind, ahead?
Yeah,
factoring in,
we're
you know,
actually, we're ahead of where we typically have been the last few times, John. But this is the first time that Angela O'Brien, who had to drop off, our furnishings consultant, she said, even if we had ordered this stuff months ago, this is the first time in her 30+ years of doing this that she can't guarantee that stuff is going to show up. It's just so out of everybody's control. So we did discuss with the subcommittee that, we really have to have a plan B, and the most logical plan B is, worst case, you might have to move some of the furnishings that you have now into the new building until the new furnishings arrive. And, to Michael's point, no one wants to do that, but, you have to operate a school.
The tough thing is the uncertainty. Angela can't even tell us that it's 6 months. She just can't really tell us anything. So maybe that's plan C though, Gene. I mean, we're working to try and formulate a plan B that's not used stuff, but
Good.
TBD.
Good.
So-
Yeah, it's not that Angela can't say, it's like her vendors can't say.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's not Angela. It's probably not even her vendors. It's her vendors, manufacturers, and the manufacturers, widget manufacturers.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, John, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I don't know, is there any, selection of, I don't want to say local, but are any of the, are we trying to stay away from the vendors that we know are experiencing the longest delays right now? If that's even, an option.
Yeah, I think they're all experiencing delays. I think, they might tell you that they're not, but then 2 weeks later, they tell you, oh, we are.
Right.
And I think, I'm not sure what's manufactured locally, if anything, these days.
Yeah.
We can ask Angela, but I think what you don't want to do is order a product that might be a shorter lead time, but's inferior and is not going to stand the test of time, right?
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
So, it's a good heads up for the committee, though, for everybody. There's a lot of uncertainty, and like I said, we're ahead of where we've ever been, and we're still probably, we still can't guarantee that stuff's going to show up.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on public comment? Because the next item is adjourned. All right, well, I want to thank everybody. Things look good.
Yeah.
And I guess somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Mark.
All right. I'll start. Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Harsh.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.